Ahoy everybody, SpongeBob here. No, I don't have allergies. I've been crying because I couldn't think of another episode of my podcast. Hey, an idea struck. I'll do an episode about crying. Yeah, I'll call it A Day Without Tears. And to help me with it is Squidward. Whatever. Now, without further ado, let's get started. So basically, this episode starts out with me waking up on a beautiful day, but I trip, fall, and stub my toe. Because of that, I cry. Once I recovered from that, I proceeded to pick out an outfit. They were all the same, by the way. Anyway, I picked one out and accidentally ripped it. It was my favorite. Once I recovered from that, I proceeded to eat my favorite cereal and listen to the radio. Unfortunately, I listened to a sad song. SpongeBob was such a crybaby. Yes, I was. Then once I reached the Krusty Krab, I proceeded by doing what I do best, making Krabby Patties. Unfortunately, Mr. Krabs entered the scene, and I accidentally flipped the patty to the floor. Mr. Krabs then exited the scene, and I decided to have a proper funeral for the said patty. With that, I burst into tears. Squidward then entered the scene and asked me if I could stop it, but his constant yelling made me cry even more. Once I recovered, Squidward showed me how many times I cried so far. 43 times. He then showed me a quick montage of flashbacks he edited together that showed the hundreds of tears I have cried over the years. Thousands of tears later, I agree that I do cry a lot. I promised Squidward that I wouldn't cry anymore, but then he begged me if I could make it through the rest of the day without crying. If I didn't, I'd have to do his chores for a year. If I did, he would come to a slumber party at my place. The thought of it almost made Squidward throw up. He tried everything to get me to cry. He made me watch the sunset. He made me see Gary sleep like an angel. He read a postcard from my parents. He made me watch sad news, and even played a sad song. But none of those tactics made me cry. When he read me a sad story, I tried so hard to hold in all my tears. And let me tell you, all that trying so hard stuff paid off. When midnight hit, I let it all out. There were so many tears it was almost a river, which is weird because we live under the sea. Anyway, I won the bet, and Squidward was invited to a slumber party at my house. I tried to give him some popcorn, but because of the fact that he lost, he was the one who burst into tears. And that's how the episode ends. Wow, SpongeBob, I can't believe I'm saying this, but for an 11-minute episode, you were descriptive about it. Why, thank you, Squidward. And for a descriptive episode, it's one of my favorites, even if it did have a lot of crying involved. Anyway, let's talk about my 3 favorite parts. My first favorite part was watching the sunset. It was so colorful, I almost teared up. Luckily, the sunset was over with fast. It was unlucky for me. Anyway, my second favorite part was seeing Gary sleep. He was so adorable it almost made me cry. But I told myself there shall be no tears in the household. My third favorite part was watching the news with Squidward. At first I found out a snail was stuck in a tree. However, he got down, so that made me feel better. What about the fact when you heard that the Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy show would only be played 7 times a day instead of 8? Oh, don't remind me, Squidward. Don't remind me. And what about when I showed you a show about a boy and his dad playing catch? I told you not to remind me. Hey, fun fact. So you know I listen to the radio when I have breakfast, right? Well, listen closely to what the announcer says. He says a name called Lionel Fishy, which is a reference to Lionel Richie. Lionel Richie? Isn't he one of the judges on American Idol? He sure is. Oh my gosh, I love that show. Me too. The singing is so amazing it almost makes me cry. Now let's see how many viewers we got. Wow, 3.95 million viewers. They must have been impressed by how much you cry. No, that can't be. There were so many people watching this episode because we had fun shooting this episode. Oh? Yeah, I must tell you I was excited to do this episode because I wanted to show off my crying skills. I don't mean to brag, but I am a talented actor. You know, I feel like it's good to cry. Really? Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, it's one of the healthy things to do. That just means you're still a normal person. Unlike you. What was that? Nothing. Speaking of crying, I remember stubbing my toe while watering my spice garden, and I only cried for 20 minutes. Didn't you mention that in another episode? Yeah, that was a season 3 episode, No Weenies Allowed. Oh yeah. Well, folks, we're almost out of time. I hate to say goodbye to you. You say goodbye to them often. Yes, but this day was special. Oh boy, here we go. Don't worry, I'll pull myself together. Okay, buck up, kid. Yes, Squidward. Anyway, see you next time where I talk about the episode Gary in Love. Bye!